Check one, one, two, one, two. Let me get my camera going. Let's go. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Holy CME gap. Oh my gosh. All right, let's make sure everything is looking good, sounding good. Welcome. Let me know if everything looks good, sounds good. I bet you're looking good. You're also sounding good. What's going on, everyone? Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. No, something's different. The sound is a little lower. Let me fix that. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, there we go. Now we got some juice. Now we have some juice. Here we go. Okay, I think we're good. Turn down the gain just a little bit. Okay, welcome everyone. So we had a nice little consolidation. Now, why did this happen? Well, it was the CME gap. We were talking about the CME gap. 90% of the time these things get filled, and sometimes whenever the price just ends up, training off of some of those old gaps, you think, okay, just let me show you. Because some gaps don't get filled. There's a gap that was at like at $12,000, dollar Bitcoin that I don't think ever got filled. So it does happen. Some gaps get left behind, but 90% of the time they end up getting filled. And you can see here the gap that we were talking about, we marked into this purple box. We tried to fill it here at 115, and we thought that was it. We were like, okay, this is going to be where the price could potentially bounce from and not fill the full gap. But then you can see here that, lo and behold, we ended up actually filling the gap completely. So you can see that we marked this. So we predicted this a few days ago. It said, if we are going to fill the gap, then this would be the price movement that ends up happening, is this type of move. And we kept this drawing here just in case it ended up doing this, because then we say, oh my gosh, we predicted it. But what we didn't do is we didn't do what we say we were going to do, which is set some limit orders around 114, 115, around this area. Because if you could get limits anywhere around in this purple box, I would say anywhere in this range between 116,000 and 115,000, which currently right now, Bitcoin is sitting at $115,100. And we had a nice dip from 119,000 right here, going down to this price. So look, you can see that we're getting a really nice bounce from this level. This is an obvious level of support that I think with the Fibonacci extension levels, we are going to see the next tail up to test the previous resistance at 121 and 123. And then the next level of the Fibonacci, which I think, if you're wondering what is the next level that we could be going up to, is $128,000 per Bitcoin, because the nature of how the bull run works and how Bitcoin works, it does these staircases. So you can see that we've created this floor here and a sideways consolidation, and then now we're going to go to the next level up, the next leg up. And so during these next couple months, we're probably going to see more Bitcoin dominance, and we are going to see some ETH dominance as well, because the institutions are flowing into the ETFs. We've showed you the ETF tables. We've showed you that, the institutions are flowing into the ETFs. There's more regulatory clarity. The SEC, Paul Atkins, new SEC chair, is pushing for more less tightening on the ETF filings. I think he's trying to and also he's signaling that they want to be the crypto capital of the world, that the United States wants to be the crypto capital of the world. So we're making it easier for all of these different services, products, institutions to be able to get on board with crypto, go on chain, tokenize, and make it to where we're not in a type of lawfare situation or where it becomes some kind of political thing. It's more so like, look, we just need the innovation and the ability to be able to go full on crypto, just be bullish, long crypto. So this is where we're at, which is great. So, but the institutions are basically, they're flowing into these ETFs with Bitcoin and also with Ethereum, and that is going to cause the prices to continue to go up in a uptrend. Now, I've noticed that whenever we've seen the flow start to slow down, that's when we start to see the actual correlation with the price. Now that the institutions are using their capital, which they have way more capital than us. So you wonder how these coins actually end up moving is because big money starts to buy. There's more buying pressure, there's less selling pressure, and there's a lot of capital that ends up coming in to these coins. So one of them being Ethereum, you can see that whenever we were inflowing like this and, $500 million on the day, then this is why the Ethereum price was able to hold up and sustain where it's been. But now that it's slowed down, and also it's slowed down for, oh, look at this. It's got the Solana ETF on there now. Okay, we're going to have to cover this too. We're going to have to talk about the Solana ETF because now we finally have the Solana table here. This is crazy. So it's almost like we're starting to see the crystal ball of the rotation of what's about to happen here. It's amazing. So like Bitcoin is going to still dominate, but then we're going to start to see the institution flowing into these altcoins through the modality of the ETF. So, wow. I mean, when is it we're going to see XRP on here pretty soon? You never know. You never know. But just to show like Solana, just, I know you guys are bullish Solana and showing the strength here. This just right here is signaling so much institutional adoption for Solana and being a pretty good, direct competitor with Ethereum. But I think there's just a lot of opportunities to be had in the next few years. You have to think about this as the long game. If you're willing to hold and know that there are going to be points of volatility, you're going to see your portfolio fluctuate, but if you can, hold through those waves of volatility, I think we could be massively rewarded. But it doesn't come without its risks. You have to have a plan, a strategy. You're not guaranteed you're going to get rich, but you have a good chance. You have a good chance. Very good chance. So yeah, this is as Stay Calm said, is Coinbase just going to list all coins? I mean, it feels like it, Sometimes I wonder, like, who is part of the team that goes into these Coinbase listings for some of these memes recently, and you think to yourself, how is it that Brett was not listed on Coinbase before Keyboard Cat and Toshi or Degen or any of those other coins? I think there's so many coins that you could question Coinbase and be like, what? Like, what's the deal here? Brett is the highest traded, certainly the more popular meme coin on Base, and I don't know. They just haven't listed it yet. But I think it's overdue. It's definitely overdue. I know you guys probably have thought the same thing, but maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's something we don't know. There's probably some back end things that have to be dealt with, before they can, or maybe they just have some plan, maybe there's some master plan. I don't know. Do you guys have any insider information? Because I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. All right. So let's get into, well, I'll tell you, I have used Base a lot though. Some people say, oh, Base isn't a chain. It's not a real chain. They don't really vibe with Base. Obviously Base is trying to onboard a lot of people. They're trying to make Coinbase like the everything app, or the Base app, the everything app. It could be successful. It's possible. It's if a company can do it, they can get the user experience down. They can actually get users to use the thing. Then Coinbase, if you can use all the money that you've generated from your fees to make a better product, please, by all means, please do it. I support you. But yeah, no, I've used Base. I like Base. I've used Base as an on ramp, as a rail, on as a chain. I hold some ticker Bitcoin on Base. Yes, the info inside of the sandwich, Mike Joey says. But yeah, this is cool. So, all right, so let's let me say hi to everyone. Let me say hi to everyone. First of all, on YouTube, if you don't hit the like button, YouTube thinks that I am garbage. YouTube will think that I am a garbage channel, and they will not push me out to the masses. So if you guys like this channel and you enjoy coming to this channel and watching this on a daily basis, which I think you guys do, I think you do, because you're here, you gotta hit the like button. You have to destroy it. You have to smash it. Absolutely, like Gallagher, mallet, watermelon this thing, and we can all make it together. This is a collective effort. This is a collective effort. It's not just me. It's you guys as well. You are part of the show. You are part of this experience as well. You see your comments popping up on the screen. I interact with you guys as much as I can, and I want you to be a part of this just as much as it's just me blabbing my mouth on a crypto live stream. But yes, I just want to remind you guys. Sometimes you have to be reminded. I know, but you have to be reminded. Also, you can share this too. That would really help too, is repost it, share it wherever you're watching it from. Share it on MySpace, share it on LiveJournal, share it on 4chan, whatever you still use. Tumblr. Share it to wherever you're watching. And see, look, it's already working. It's already working. You guys are amazing. And also help me to get to the Zoomers. I'm trying to get to the Zoomers on TikTok, and I think I'm getting there. I'm starting to crack. I'm starting to crack through. I'm starting to break through to the Zoomers. And help me achieve this goal of getting to my first 100 followers so I can crack the Zoomer code. That's what we're trying to do, is crack the Zoomer code. All right. So, big topics of discussion here for today is obviously we filled the CME gap, and we're going to look at the levels of where we think we're going to go. Bitcoin going into the Fibonacci extension level was $128,000. So I think that's a good level to call. I know, Mike Joe. Yeah. Tumblr. You guys remember Tumblr? That was what was big in the early 2000s. Tumblr and LiveJournal and just forum boards. I think LiveJournal was very much a lot of artists on there. But yeah, so big topic of discussion today is that CME gap being filled and the rest of the market, where we think it could be going. And also, we're going to pull up the White House's crypto policy that they posted, and basically a crypto policy overview. We're gonna look at that. We are going to analyze some of the market caps of some of the biggest assets in the world and compare them to what the cryptocurrency market caps are right now, and how you guys can start thinking about crypto for the long term, and how we can basically look at this as our opportunity to get into something like the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 and gold back 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago. This is how you have to think about it. This is our opportunity now to start DCAing and investing in the entire world going on chain. So if the entire world is basically going to be going on chain eventually, and things are going to be verified through smart contracts and tokenization and everything that is represented in the physical world as product and services and stuff like that, will eventually probably be represented in a tokenized form. So how do you end up just getting exposure into that? Well, you invest in the underlying assets and the layers and all this stuff that it will be used for this evolution of our financial future. So $3.8 trillion compared to what the rest of the world is valued at in terms of the assets is so early. Like, we're way early. Like, we're massively early. And so you have to think about this like 10, 15 years down the line, how if you were one of those people way back in the early days of crypto and Bitcoin, and you were one of those people that even experimented with mining, and you were just trying to, navigate and learn this new type of money, and you had that thought to would say, wait a second, like, I got to think 10 years down the line. Those people that thought 10 years down the line, well, guess what? You remember those whale wallets that were moving Bitcoin around? Yeah, that's those people. That's those people that thought that same thought 10 years ago. And guess what? Now they're moving millions and millions of dollars of liquid capital of digital money. That now they can do whatever they want. They have ultimate freedom. They have ultimate choice of what they can do with their life now, because they just had a long-term view of this type of revolution. And it compounded very well for those people. So now you have to not think about all this short-term crap. And the price action, you have to think this very much a long-term view. Now, this obviously is going to have cycles in it. It's going to have your volatility. Like we said, you're going to see your portfolio fluctuate going up and down. But the point of it is to compound and know that if you're not taking these risks and you're not investing and you're just, acquiring more, expenses in the month, and then just saving your money, your value of the dollar is being debased, and we know this to be true. And things are just in terms of products are getting more expensive. So how do you combat that? You have a compounding strategy of having your money work for you. And so now in our generation, it's, to get the type of returns a little faster than what, say, gold did for people coming out of the early 2000s and coming out of the 90s and coming out of, just like acquiring gold, seeing that the dollar was getting weakened. We have to use the cryptocurrency markets as our way to be able to get ahead. This is how I'm looking at it. And I think it'd be very wise for you guys to start thinking about it the same way and not think, oh, this is my last cycle, blah, blah, blah. Oh, cryptos makes me depressed, or, I lost too much, so I can't, No, it's all a scam. It's all that is all a trick to make you not think about the long-term strategy and possibility of you locking into this type of thesis. So make sure you are at least even a little bit on that type of mindset right now, because I think it's very valuable. Now, let's look at the next level that's bearish, because I don't want to give you guys the bullish case scenario and not give you the bearish case scenario that I just realized is still possibly in play. Because if you look at this on the hourly, this could be this looks like a Bart Simpson. And when Bart Simpson comes along, it's like it's pretty wicked. Sometimes it's very fast and it could be violent, and then bam, and then we get a nice little recovery. But let's watch out for this, because I had this level marked for a reason. I just remember now, between 111,000 and 12,000 right here in this range, this was the last time that we did that double bottom and then started to crank up. Now, we have to watch out. We have to watch out for that because we could get a bearish divergence and end up scooping down, and we get faked out because we did fill the gap. We're getting a nice little consolidation, but there's all this tariff talks. There's reciprocal tariffs. Jerome Powell signaling that they might not cut rates in September as well. They might actually wait and cut rates in November just one time this year. That's what's crazy. So we were thinking that the Trump administration was going to be able to pressure the Fed hard enough to be able to cut the rates, but with Jerome's tone, it seems like they're not even thinking about cutting them for next month. So they're just going to continue to keep these rates very, very tight, which means they are in QT still, quantitative tightening, and they're not easing up. And this is potentially causing the uncertainty in the market for where we could be going, which could pull prices down lower here, possibly in the short term. And before we actually get a chance to pop off to that level that I was talking about, the 128,000, which is that 1618 level right here. That's the next obvious level right there, but it's the markets and the exchanges right now, they could be playing some games and be bringing us back down into 112. It's possible. So I wanted to give you guys that bearish case scenario as well, so you're prepared for it. I think if you were watching the channel, you were definitely prepared for a CME gap fill if that was the case. And I said, look, if there's anything that happens like this, then just set some limit orders and just see if possibly they get filled. And so if that was the case and you did that and you set a limit order, you were able to catch the bounce right here. And then I said, look, you'll catch a bounce and then immediately it'll go up 2% from there. So then you just made a really nice 2% trade, and it didn't even matter what the leverage was. You could have set the leverage at 150x. It doesn't matter because then you were pretty confident that it would bounce off of those levels in this range. So that's how you can, in the moments like this, take advantage of a consolidation in a level that is the market's kind of eyeing. But look, you have to be quick though. You have to be really quick. Look how quick that 2% happened, and then we got rejected off the 20 EMA. And look at that candle. It was like, boom. And then this correlated and coincided with the open market, with the market open here. Nice little wick to the downside, and now it's doing some chop. So, but that's super cool though, because then if you know that Bitcoin can do this, then there are a lot of other opportunities where you can say, dang, or even in the altcoins too, where you could say, okay, I see where certain areas where we could get a magnet of price, and you can start setting some limit orders in those areas on the next time, and it'll keep you keen on also where you'll hit some resistance. It's pretty cool. You can use this to your advantage, and you don't have to put in a lot of trades and be day trading. You can just say, hey, I'm going to get a nice little snipe here and be able to take advantage of those moves. So it's really cool. All right, we have 11 people in here and only 3 likes, so I don't think you guys heard me very well earlier about the likes discussion. YouTube will think my channel is garbage if you do not hit the like button. So if we don't get 11 likes right now, immediately, right in this instant, I'm ending the stream. I'm just going to end it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to end it right now. No, I'm just kidding. The dump isn't over yet. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I wanted to give the bearish case scenario. They could fake us out and say, okay, that was good. And we could be going down to that because look, here's the order block. Here's where liquidity was sitting before. According to the Lux Algo order block, this right here, this 112 could be a super super, super sweet level for Bitcoin to bounce from. So then we could be actually looking at something like this. Like we just kind of start going down and we hit that, and then that's where we bounce from. We end up doing that. But we did do this. We're doing this, but it's not giving us a nice, clear, uptrend or a V-shaped recovery. Look, it was kind of like, it crossed right there, got to the ribbon, and then it got completely rejected. And now it's doing this. This is just chopping traders up. Chopping. Just chopping. Chop, 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 chop. It's a wicked chop. It's a wicked chopper right now. Wicked chopper. But look, I like marking levels of resistance and support, because then that's where you can be like, oh, lot of liquidity sitting right there. GK said, although this dump made 0 sense because huge chunk of liquidity is sitting above 120. Well, that's actually where we had a lot of sell pressure, though, because if you look, this is where the range is. The range it was in between 116 and 120. We talked about this. The range, this is leverage flush. It's just, they're just flushing the leverage. They flush it out. They're liquidating longs or shorts up here. Then they liquidate the longs, bringing it down into this range again. You can see it. There's the range. And so now that they were able to sweep a lot of that liquidity right here, you can see it, but it's just kind of making lower lows, which, it's not good. You could say like that, I don't like that, It's like do, and it could try and push back up to 116 and do this. Because if it's doing this, it could go and just give us the 112 right there. Or it can do it really, or it just can give it to us now. Just go ahead and give it to us right there. But I just don't know. I don't know. The weekend we'll see. Going into Saturday and Sunday, interesting enough, we were pumping on the weekends. We were actually trading up in the weekends, and then we were getting faked out going into Monday or Tuesday. That was happening in the past couple of weeks. Like, we were just during the weekend was where we were breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin was breaking all-time highs. I think it was on a Sunday we broke into all-time highs. Yeah, I think if we were looking at whatever day it was, I think it was like a Sunday where we broke up to all-time. Yeah, it was like Sunday, and all through the weekend we were pumping. Like right here, it was like this big move to the upside through the weekend. Yeah, right here, weekend pump, and then look, Monday came, and it was like going into Tuesday, it dumped, and then the middle of the week, chop sideways, and then going into that weekend right here, that previous weekend, it was just kind of chop. So it's just been chop. It's just been chop this whole time, and the market had to decide where to go, and so the obvious place was for the CME gap. It was for that CME gap. Yeah, so yep. That nice gap. We had that same gap marked, and that was it. All right, so let's go through some funny news and things like that. Like, oh my gosh, what is up with this? What is up with the algorithm? That algorithm ain't rhythming. All right, bullish sheath. No more diversity, equity, inclusion hires. Let's see what Ivan has to say.
Hires, DEI hires, all of them are gone. Exactly. It's like, it's like Twitter. Elon Musk came in. It was interesting to see. Before Elon Musk came in, it was, a bunch of chicks, this and that, very diverse, like this, everyone, different blue hair, this and that. Then Elon Musk comes in, it's only Asian dudes. No more. This, sipping coffee, doing some a bit of work 1 hour per day, going home. Now Elon Musk comes in. Only Asian dudes, bam, 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 coding in real time at light speed. That's what you need. That's what you need, man, for success. You don't need all of this, coffee discussions.
It is funny though, because Twitter, when at a point Twitter, the way that they were operating is like they were just like only working like an hour a day. A lot of them were working from home, and the people that were working in the office, they were doing yoga. They had like all of this kind of just like weird workflow where like no work was getting done. It was kind of a nightmare. And then Elon came in and brought in all the Asians and the coders and big ball and big balls. and then they just dominated. And then now you can see the success of Twitter now being X. It's really funny. So yeah, now I think now ETH is doing the same. They're like, we're gonna get some more. We're gonna get some big balls in ETH as well. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this was funny. Alex Becker, he said, if that was the top and alt season never comes, I will say nothing about how much I've lost, but there will be signs. I like that. That's good. I don't know. I look like Anthony Papiano in the background. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know I can't even tell who that is. I think that's like a female version of Becker. This is very disturbing. All right, let's keep going. Okay, and another Becker tweet. We're giving Becker too much airtime. It's sad I have to remind people of this, but I like this breakdown because it is true. The way alt season will work is by this schedule. It usually kind of runs like this. It's called the rotation. And I was actually explaining this to my friend just last night. I was saying this is just kind of how it happens. It's like you got all the money flowing into Bitcoin, and then eventually when it runs, the money has to eventually spread out and go somewhere. It goes into ETH. ETH ends up getting that pump and almost outperforms Bitcoin. And then what is that in sentiment for the rest of the altcoin market? It gives speculation into rolling into some of the other top altcoin picks, like a Solana, like an XRP, or like a Cardano, an AVAX, whatever Litecoin, whatever floats your boat. Like some money is going to end up flowing into those things. And then it's like the FOMO hits. It starts to roll into the mid to low caps. Then it rolls into degeneracy, where money starts to go into the craziness. You start seeing the memes pump even harder. Then you start seeing like just kind of like a rollout in a final inning where people finally crash and burn, and then it crashes. Cycle then retests for its next leg, and then repeats or bull ends. So it gets another test, or then it finally goes into the bear market, where we just kind of consolidate into a year or two of downward, sideways, nothingness until we get the next, phase of the market. So each stage, the gains increase from their lows. Like the top 25, we get a 2 to 3x. Mid caps, we get like a 3 to 5x. The low caps get anywhere between like a 5 to 7x. And then with breakout exceptions in each stage doing much higher multiples. But, that's kind of like the, worst, best case scenario on the low side. And there it has gone higher. Like we've seen some of the mid caps and low caps do way more than a 3 to 5x. Like, I mean, think about like Axie Infinity, Illuvium, crypto gaming ecosystem, the metaverse stuff. Like a lot of that stuff was insanely overvalued. It went up so much really fast. some of them with no product. Some of them did have a product, but it was crazy how much those things went up. I mean, it was like 10, 15, 20x. It was insane. So a lot of stuff will end up kind of, but he said everything will bleed against ETH till it cleanly passes its all-time high, which means that ETH is going to take a little bit of that market dominance to break all-time high. It'll break all-time high and consolidate, and then where is that money going to eventually flow? But I think it's already at the same time as ETH is going up, there will be certain coins that go up with ETH because we've seen it happen before, even when ETH wasn't breaking all-time highs and hadn't seen an ETH break an all-time high. And that one of them was it had been Brett. Brett was one of those that followed ETH really well. We also had Ticker Bitcoin, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu follow ETH really well. And every time we've had like this, kind of euphoric sentiment, especially with meme coins, it's kind of like a meme coin index, index indicator. And then Wojak was another one that I really liked how the chart looked with, ETH sentiment. Hadn't seen it in ETH all-time high. But yeah, another chart that I really liked too was the MOG chart too. I really liked the MOG chart. Just kind of like the OG MOG looked really, really well too with the strength of ETH. So what I'm saying is we will have a bleed of most altcoins kind of going into ETH, but the key is that you want to be in strong ETH memes. If you want to take advantage of the runs early and still be able to get gains while things are bleeding into ETH, so why would you hold another layer 1 or layer 2 if they're going to bleed into ETH, but then you could just be holding ETH and strong ETH meme coins, and you're reaping the benefits of ETH dominance. So this is how you could potentially play the next couple months if that is the case. If that's the case, so how can we determine if that's the case and if we want to position that way or trade that way? Because you could do this in positioning in your spot bags, but then also if you're wanting to leverage trade and take advantage of those moves, then you would want to be potentially looking at Ethereum and then also really strong ETH memes. And then you can say, okay, well, if these other altcoins are going to bleed into ETH, where could those potentially bottom against ETH? And then you can figure out where to go from there. And it just gives you opportunities to just DCA and know that eventually ETH will then cool off, and then the cycle and the rotation will eventually lead into where whatever you were DCAing that thing that was getting hit, and now money's starting to flow in, and you're starting to see the gains. So how can we tell if that's the case here? I think that the ETH BTC ratio is a good way that we can see if that is the case. We're starting to see the Fibonacci resistance here. It rejected off the 382, which is the 0.03 ratio for ETH and BTC. The next level is where we've had massive resistance and some sell pressure according to these order blocks right here, which is the exact level where I would love to see this level get hit. This level would be a great level to get hit to then, I think, supercharge that thesis of us going into a pretty decent Ethereum dominant market structure. And then the real one, I think, is hitting up into the next Fibonacci level, which would be the 618, which is the 0.04. So I think we could break through this. And then we end up getting to that 618. This is where I think alts are going to be. This is where we're going to get into the 10 to 15x type territory right up here. And it's gonna be like game on. This is where we're probably gonna make the most gains in the market, is when we have this ratio come into play. When was the last time that these ratios were in play? Well, it was when we were seeing those mini altcoin seasons, and also the bull run. The bull run where alts were going crazy. We had the DeFi summer. This was all DeFi summer right here. And from that point, whenever we bottomed of the ratio, we double bottomed here. And then we had that run up. It didn't come without the volatility, though. It wasn't a straight run up. It you can see here, it did a healthy move up. I think we're gonna see similar stuff. We're right here. We're gonna see a nice healthy move up back into this range, and we are going to then see, I think, some of the craziest freaking things happen in this portion of the market, because it's just bound to happen. It's just bound to happen. Sam said chat is suffering from brain rot. That's funny. No, I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to educate you guys. The only way we're going to get the altcoin season that we want is for us to be getting back up into those ranges. But by the time we're back, this is the thing. Once we're up here, this is the thing. This is where we need to be buying. Like, this is the DCA area. This is the accumulation area. We're still at, like, technically we're at bear market lows for some altcoins. AVAX is at 23. It's probably, it's a lot lower now. AVAX, we gave that example of AVAX being very undervalued. Like, we think like AVAX and Polygon and Litecoin and a lot of these like, old school previous bull market coins are really undervalued. $22. $22 for AVAX. We're still in these accumulation zones. So right now, if you were to just be DCAing into something like AVAX, I mean, I'm not telling you to go buy AVAX, but you make your own decision. It could be AVAX, or it could be Cardano. I mean, hey, Cardano is actually in a pretty decent accumulation zone right now. I'd say it was really in a good zone when it got. I said any zone of Cardano, if you're wanting to accumulate Cardano in this purple box range, was some sweet lows. Yeah, it's some sweet lows right here. And also all during 2022 and 2023, if you're wanting to build up a back of Cardano, that was also at the time too. That was like mega bear market lows right here. And we just came out of that area, but we're getting up to the second tier. I call this the second tier previous bull market resistance and also support that eventually brought Cardano up to that $3 zone of selling pressure from the last bull market, which happened in September. And basically that was the first coin to hit that mega pump. And then another one before it was Polygon. I think Chainlink hit a nice run before then as well. And then it rotated, money rotated into Cardano. And then Cardano, because why? Those smart contracts, that whole thing, like the whole prospect of, all the money was going to start to flow into Cardano. Well, it already did. It was front run, and then people basically sold the news. They sold the event. They bought the news of the whole smart contracts thing, and then they sold the event, and they sold it really hard because then it basically went down. From that point, it went down a lot. I mean, it went down into the ground. So we're trading back up into those ranges of potentially getting that similar resistance, similar run. And from where we're at right now, if you're wanting to DCA into Cardano and in hopes that it could get to previous bull market resistance, which is that $3, that's a 317% move to the upside. That's not bad. If you're wanting something that is kind of like I think it's still a risky play, but it's still a risky play. This is no more riskier than you buying meme coins, or buying a new launch. Like, this is just as risky as buying a new launch, because you could be DCAing this whole way, all the way up to the pump, all the way up to here, and we could hit resistance at $3, and who knows what's going to happen at that point. So you have to know. So this is what is very interesting about starting a DCAing strategy into a particular market cycle, because you don't know when it's going to end. You don't know if you're going to like sell too early, buy too late, whatever it is. And you then have to decide for yourself if you're going to be a forever Cardano community holder, like how the XRP people had to do. For some of the XRP people, if you were able to hold through that pain and you DCA'd, you were able to reap the benefits of the reward by taking that risk. But that was a mega risk. It's a mega risk. XRP, for all you know, could have been defeated by the SEC, and then it just never recovered again. That could have also happened, but... Oh, yeah, and Perdita said, man, Jim Cramer kept talking about how good Bitcoin was, and then we dumped. Yeah, I know. Well, it's always when everyone gets super, super bullish, you start seeing that timeline get a little too bullish, and that's when you need to be worried. When everyone's starting to type higher, that's what I've noticed. That's actually the best metric that you can go off if you're wondering, if you're like, okay, should I sell? Should I be a little worried? Are we going to have a pullback? When you start seeing the timeline say higher, much higher, and then you start seeing all the people start calling for higher, that's when the exchanges and the market makers go, and they start salivating, and it's really bad. So that's actually a good metric to follow. All right, you guys, we have not passed 10 likes yet on YouTube. Holy moly. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, let's get through the rest of the things that I had planned for today. We'll show you the trade. The ETH trade. It's holding on, but now that we're back down in these ranges, I think it's really a good opportunity to scale into this thing and just really scale it in, because I want to swing long this ETH trade, and we're going to get into a couple different trades too. We're going to get into as many trades as we can, to be honest. we feel it, but we just want to make sure that we're getting on a good level, and if we're not going to crash down into 112, because even then we'll still feel it, and we'll be bullish, and we'll be ready to catch that next leg up, because 128,000 is right around the corner, my friends. All right. We're not going to go through every 166 page crypto digital financial technology report that the White House did, but we're just going to kind of skim through it. But this is the sections of this thing. You can go through this yourself, and if you want to, I'm going to copy and paste it in here so you guys can follow along. So we got the contents here. We got an introduction. We got the digital asset ecosystem, talking about the market size and the actual trends, the market participants, the key regulators and oversight, which is the CFTC and the SEC, that are the governing bodies that control the in and outs and the what's and the do's and don'ts of the cryptocurrency markets in the United States. Then we got the market activities. We got the digital asset market structure. So then you can see how the establishing taxonomy for digital assets, which should be no tax. I don't think there should be any tax on any of these digital assets. I think that's BS. I think that's straight BS, and we shouldn't have any taxes on any of our gains at all, because if inflation is as bad as it is and we already get taxed on our freaking income, why the hell are we getting taxed on this? Especially when the money can get printed, you freaking crazy people. What the heck? Stop taxing us. Enabling the trading of digital assets at the federal level. Creating a lasting framework for digital asset market structure. Then we got the banking in digital assets, so bank engagement with digital assets, so how the banks are going to play ball with being custodians of digital assets, just like how PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App and all these digital apps, transfer apps, and online banking apps have already been playing ball. But now you're going to start to see in your Chase Bank, your Bank of America, your whatever, even your local credit act and all this stuff with the legislation was being pushed heavily, because this is going to be the next financial revolution and switchover from old TradFi to stablecoin payment blockchain rails. This is what this is all about. So stablecoins and payments, payment systems, innovations in payments, central bank digital currencies. That is, and a lot of states already have passed bills and legislation that they can't. The central bank digital currencies will not be able to be used in specific states, and specifically one of them being Florida. Ron DeSantis was the first governor to put into law that no central bank digital currencies can be used for payments or be forced on the American people and the citizens also in Florida to not have to use their central bank digital currencies, which gives us the freedom and autonomy to be able to use whatever currency we'd like. Because why do you guys get to say what we get to use? Promoting the competitiveness of the U.S. dollar through digital asset payments and capital markets. Because technically, if everything is going to be 1-to-1 ratio to the U.S. dollar, which they just print to infinity, and if it's going to be backed by treasuries and gold and things like that, then why does it matter what you'd end up taking at for whether it be USDT or USDC or whatever it is, as long as it can be backed, the people can make it frictionless. But if it is going to be something like a central bank digital currency where there's going to be some kind of weird control mechanism, surveillance or whatever, then that's not good. We don't want that. We don't want that. Because we got to make sure that there's no sneaky legislation and weird stuff that they end up being able to debank you in some way. Because that was the whole push for the Trump administration to begin with, to get into digital currencies and into DeFi, because their whole family was debanked for political reasons. Countering illicit finance, so illicit finance risks. All the different mitigating risks for the cryptocurrency ecosystems. Then we got taxation, current tax guidance, and yeah, so there's a lot in here. There is a lot in here, but yeah, if you really want to get yourself caught up to speed with how the United States is basically bullish long crypto, here it is. This is it, my friends. But yeah, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here on the Freaky Friday. A reminder to look into what's happening with Pulse Chain and what Richard Hart is doing. There is a mass marketing campaign that I think he is about to drop on the people here. I really like the new Pulse Chain website too. It's super simple. It's not convoluted. There's not a bunch of crap going on. It's just like, here's Pulse Chain. Here's the main tokens, the 4 main tokens. Here's how you can set up your wallet. And it's just pretty straightforward. I really like it. Sometimes the simple is better. Just like you don't have to have too much crap going on. But this was posted on the 27th, and this is just like, I think everyone should be paying attention to what Richard Hart's doing in the background. Doesn't mean you need to be buying the tokens. You just need to be paying attention. So crypto, what are you going to do when the mass marketing starts ripping faces off? People are going to hear about Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex and Pump.tires directly before they hear about anything else. What is he? He's saying that people are going to hear about it directly. They're going to hold something in their hands. So something's being sent and something's being mass marketed that is physical. They're going to behold something in their hands that works great and is impressive. Something that they're not going to throw away. Hex did a 10,000x in price the first time, while being murdered with deca millions in fees to ETH. Now Pulse Chain exists, and when PLS goes up, Hex goes up. PLS, PLSX, Hex, Pump Tires, they all reinforce each other because of the nature of the liquidity that we talked about, how things are paired in PLS. So coin burning everywhere you look. Says it's amazing. Dry powder ready to explode. The weak hands shaken out violently. Amazing designs and reliability with years of track record. He said the match is nearly struck. Be ready for greatness and haters. You might as well get your memes ready because you're going to be very butthurt. He says season's greetings. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that gets me bullish. That gets me excited. I love things cooking in the background like that, where everyone is looking right and we are kind of looking a little bit left center. Keeping our peripheral vision on the right as well. We're not all the way looking over here, but we're like center. We're looking right, but then also we're like, what's happening over here? What's going on over here? I think that there was a really good breakdown and thesis of how there's certain ecosystems that don't want to be used as exit liquidity, because if a thing pumps too hard, you are going to be the exit liquidity for the next thing to be used for liquidity to go into whatever the next thing is. So is Pulse Chain going to be the last laugh and where liquidity ends up flowing into Pulse Chain last? Like this is like it's almost like, because of what's about to happen and potentially with Ethereum breaking all-time high, we get into that different market structure, and this whatever's happening with this massive PR campaign or attention coming into Pulse Chain, are all the people that were dogging on Pulse Chain for years going to end up coming in and bridging in and getting into Pulse Chain, and also retail coming in and getting getting into Pulse Chain at the very end. And then instead of it being used early, like a lot of these things are possibly right now as exit liquidity, it actually gets the last laugh. I don't know, but I want to be here to see it, whatever happens. And I kind of want to have a little bit of money in it, to be honest, and just to see if that and at least take the risk that's how I'm operating, with having a little bit of skin in the game with these ecosystems like this, because for me it seems like a no-brainer, because no one's paying attention the way that all the other things are kind of forced. Like, for instance, don't get me wrong, I like Pingu, I like Pudgy Penguins, but Jesus, I mean, the thing is being forced down people's throats a little bit, but I think that Pulse Chain is going to have some type of, it's going to be a different type of marketing strategy. It's not going to be like it has to be forced. It's just clean, And so doesn't mean I don't like the tactics of Pingu. I think that those tactics, they do work. I mean, you end up getting mind share, you end up getting people, looking at the brand, and it's everywhere. So then eventually it could, create that, that escape velocity. So I get it. So it's just, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see what ends up shaking out with that ecosystem. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? Did you ever bridge into Pulse Chain? Did you ever do any swaps? Did you ever run the software on your computer? Like, you can run the software like through your computer, directly decentralized, and not have to be through your browser. You can literally do it straight through the command prompt, and just run the PLSX software. Also, you can. Have you ever staked any hex? Have you ever used the staking? Have you used any of the DeFi? Because a lot of the people that talk all this talk and say all this stuff about Pulse Chain, they've never used it. And they have all these opinions, and you ask them, well, have you ever used it? No. Okay, well then don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Your opinion is irrelevant. I only have opinions on most things that I've actually used, and if I haven't used it and I don't know what the heck it is, I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to think that I'm stupid because I don't know what, Veracita Malaka Lulu coin and protocol is. I'm going to say, no, I don't know what that is. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll learn more. But that's what is so annoying about some of these some people in this timeline, is that they'll have all the opinions. Like, for instance, the people that were bearish ETH this whole time for a year and a half, 2 years, with no explanation just besides that, oh, price isn't where I wanted to be and price go down. So the two leading tokens on Pulse Chain right now in terms of like the liquidity, like if you were to go to the DEX and look at the tokens that are leading on Pulse, it is Pulse X. So Pulse X, because it's the main DEX, like that has the most liquidity, I believe. Let me look. Let me double check. And then we also have with the actual most liquidity and market cap or liquidity, we got the Atropa token. And then we have Hex, Incentive. There was also, if you're into the meme, if you've been familiar with any of the particular popular meme coins that were on Pulse, we had the Grace currency. TGC is called the Grace currency. That was a really popular one. We also had UFO. So TGC, UFO, and Teddy Bear, those were the most popular meme coins for a while on Pulse. So if you're like, I want to look at what the low cap, whatever the meme coin, most popular ones, those are the ones. And then the fundamental tokens are Hex. Then you have P-Hex. You also have E-Hex. But the main one that you probably want to focus on, I think, is the Hex on Pulse. That's paired with PLS, wrap PLS, just Pulse Hex. And then you have the incentive token, which is kind of the rewards token. Wherever you provide liquidity, and you provide liquidity on Pulse X, you can do pairs and pools and provide the liquidity, get the SPL token, the LP tokens. I tested it out, and I actually generated over 25 or 40, I think it was probably actually like $30 of yield in incentive token by only providing like less than $50 of liquidity into these pools. Now imagine if you were to provide liquidity in the thousands of dollars in some of these pools on Pulse X to earn incentive token, you could generate a lot of yield. It's like pretty solid yield. And it works really well. It's fast. And so this thing, I've used it. I've tested it out. So if you want to start to just play around with the yield and the DeFi aspect, just focus on that whole setup. Earn some incentive token, buy some PLSX and Pulse. You need Pulse for the gas token, but then also when you have Pulse and PulseX and incentive and also some of these stable coins and Hex, you can pair Hex with incentive or pair Hex with Pulse or pair Hex with PLSX or pair PLS with PLSX. There's like multiple different ways and all different generate different yield, but you're earning the incentive token and it's pretty cool. And you're also earning other tokens as well. I think that there's like, I'll have to look through it, but yeah, I mean, it's. I don't see what the issue is. So many people had like all this crap to say, and it's just like, what's the issue? It's just because the what people say about Richard Hart of him being, quote, a scammer, and it's just like I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Why would someone that was already a millionaire and could have retired and just like why go through the trouble? I get it. I know, ego. You'd say same with Trump. You know, Trump could have just been on an island somewhere. Pun intended. We could be on a golf course perpetually for the rest of his life, and you know, Mar-a-Lago. But he chose to be the target of a lot of people, and then continue to run for a second term of the President of the United States at 80 years old. So some people are doing things not just for trying to get more money or trying to get or try to scam people. They're wanting to leave a legacy. They're wanting to leave something behind. And that's part of the ego, which is like not necessarily a bad thing, but they are trying to leave some type of legacy behind. And that's kind of how I view Richard Hart. It's like potentially could be leaving a massive legacy behind of trying to kind of be the unsung hero of crypto, educating and warning people about stuff and about scams, about these scam projects and how to, protect yourself being in crypto. And I think it's really valuable. But a lot of people just talk a bunch of crap and they just don't, I don't know why they don't analyze it in a bigger view, bigger landscape. They just see Richard Hart in the videos of him coming out of, Louis Vuitton with the bags, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy looks like he looks like a scammer." But I'm very curious. I'm piqued. My curiosity has been very piqued. So yeah, I'm ready to get some more liquidity into that ecosystem and just continue to try and mess around with the yield and see what happens whenever we start Ethereum breaking all-time highs. Anything else we need to talk about? Any other pressing things? I know I told Jarvis today to send my application to McDonald's, so we'll see if they got it. I don't know if you guys have been following Orca, but I've told you bullish Orca, they have been doing this stuff, this innovation for basically ending the reign of the bots. So Solana's biggest issue and in the trenches was that bots were just sniping projects before anyone could get even a chance to get a great entry, and it runs up, and then there's all these other sniper bots and wallets that are basically getting and sniping the supply. Then they're also selling it super early, so quick, and it's just like a run on a particular launch, and it can screw up a launch. If you have even a project that you don't want to get sniped, it's so hard to make sure that there's no bots trying to sabotage this. So Orca's trying to make sure that they can eliminate this. So bots ruin launches, and they did something called Wave Break, where this is their new technology. So it's introducing the first fair launch architecture built for humans, not for the bots. Creators, traders, believers, here's the new launch standard for Solana. So let's see. It's a thread. Let's see. So Wavebreak is the human-first launchpad for Solana, made possible by proprietary anti-bot technology, permissionless token creation, points program for pre-graduated tokens, and graduation liquidity pool rewards for creators, and also daily rewards. So this is great. I was telling you guys that you really want to pay attention to the bullish protocols and the DeFi protocols like on ETH, like the legacy ones, like Aave and you know, and then also like Uniswap, SushiSwap, you know, Dexes and things like that. So like Orca for Solana and Radium. We really want to pay attention to these because doing stuff like this and giving incentive rewards, I mean, this could bring a lot of bullish momentum and volume and TVL to Orca. And we could see, I've shown you this before, as this is one of my favorite Solana ecosystem tokens is Orca. This thing can crush and go up to $25. I mean, like here in a bull run, in a Solana bull run, go like with the momentum of Solana right now. I just showed you the example earlier in the live stream that now Solana is a list for ETF flows. Now, look at this. We got Rex Osprey is the one that they're flowing into, and they're already flowing into it, baby. Look at this. They're already flowing in. So this is crazy. So now when you start to think about how does Solana get to $1,000, well, that's probably how it gets to $1,000. Solana treasury is being set up. We got an ETF. We got a CME Solana futures. So yeah. Go down the rabbit hole. Headband's asking, so what tokens would you buy if bullish on Orca? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what other Solana ecosystem tokens? The ones that I've been following on Solana have been... It's been mainly like Radium, Orca, Bonk, Jupiter, Radium, Orca, Bonk, Jupiter, and what was the other? Oh, Zeus, because of the Bitcoin DeFi narrative that I've talked about. That's on Solana. This thing is a little tricky though. It's like it basically got traded up to $1, and now it's just been it's been bottomed out. It did basically this same structure here where it had this double bottom right here, and you can see it double bottom. And the last time it did that, it ended up to like trading up here. So we could potentially kind of start to see. I'd love to see the run up get back up and range trade right back up into this dollar area. This is a protocol that you can do ZBTC, which is earning yield and using real Bitcoin to get Bitcoin on chain on Solana. So this is kind of like this kind of niche, narrative that's happening with the Bitcoin DeFi. So if you're wanting some kind of exposure into it, this could be a potential token to pay attention to. So yeah, so that's kind of what I've been paying attention to in the Solana ecosystem. You got Zeus, which is the Bitcoin DeFi. Then you got Orca, Radium, Jupiter, which is the DEX, launch pads, liquidity, all the things being rolled out on those three particular protocols. And then Bonk for as the meme coin that's turning into utility, which has the Bonk tokens, Launchpad. Yeah. Keeping it pretty simple on Solana too. That's how I'm looking at Solana. I'm like, hey, all those could, even just build up that's a pretty solid, like if you were to like look at a Phantom wallet and all those tokens were in there, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. All right, thank you guys for being here again. Check out all the links in the description. Check out the partners of the channel. We got PHEMEX, we got OURBIT, we got Crypto.com. We got all the things that we like to use. Links in the description. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated. It's really hot. Just wake up. Right when you wake up, drink some electrolyte water. Get some creatine in you. And you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. Dude, oh yeah, Headband. Yeah, man, you've been doing AC because Headband works in HVAC, so he's probably been crawling up in spots like just oh my god, dude. Yeah, I bet you've been woo. Have you been drinking like extra water? Hopefully, because it's been wicked hot. It has been epically hot. Where I'm at, I think we had a heat advisory for 2 days, 2 or 3 days. We had a heat advisory where we were past 105, 110 degrees. Insane. So yeah, definitely ready for a nice little cold front. Definitely ready for a nice little cold front to come through. But yeah, guys, I think I've always encouraged everyone, do this with your trading view and your altcoins. Go into the weekly and just look at what's happening on the weekly chart, and you can just say, okay, yeah, this is just where you have to believe. You have to believe in something, you know. You have to believe in the process. Look at stuff on the weekly, and you can kind of see where we're at. You can see where we're at. Now I was just, it took me a little bit. I was like, I've always been bullish Naka, but when you start to look at certain coins on the weekly and you chart them, you start to pull the trends and start to look at things in a macro perspective, you start to see, whoa, you start to see channels, you start to see trading channels, you start to see channels of trade. I like it. If anything right here, I would love to see a nice test back up to that all-time high for Naka, going back up into the crypto gaming bull run. We might see a little resistance, but I have high hopes. This is how I like to do my Moonboy TA. I love Moonboy TA. Moonboy, I call this the Moonboy measurement. This is my specialty, Moonboy measurement. You just take it from the high to the high, and you pull the trend, and then you hope for the best, and then you give yourself a target. And this is where you can start seeing where things could potentially happen for the ecosystems going into quarter 1 and 2 of next year, baby. You got to be patient. You can't get rich overnight. You got to believe in something. You think God and the universe lets you get rich overnight? Because if it did, that means you're probably going to lose it just as fast. You got to earn something. You got to believe in something. You got to go through the pain, my friends. Because look what happens to all the people that end up getting rich overnight by scamming people or doing some crazy thing. Yeah, it's it doesn't usually end well. You end up like FaZe Banks. You end up like all these people, you end up like Frank. You end up like all those people that you can't show your face anywhere anymore. You're a disgrace. Now you just gotta believe. You gotta believe in something. You gotta believe in something. And it's funny, ETH for its 10-year anniversary was saying believe in something, like they coined that phrase. And I'm pretty sure that ticker Bitcoin coined the phrase, and also the ticker is, like when people ask what's the ticker, like the ticker's Bitcoin, that was also coined by the ticker community. Believe in something, that was also, I think, a coin from the ticker Bitcoin community. They're always trying to steal stuff. It's okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys the work of art that I created the other day. This should get you feeling mega bullish. This one right here. You know, it's funny. I haven't actually. You said Ansem is in jail. I haven't seen him post in actually a little bit. When was the last time he posted? Good old Ansem. Jake was calling Ansem out, and he wants to fight Ansem. He's training. He's training up. He's like, let's go. Who do you think would win? Jake Gagan or Ansem? Ansem was looking a little goofy, a little lanky, and Jake's pretty tall too. But I think Jake probably got a little bit better form. We'd have to see. We'd have to see that. All right, my friends. I think that's it. I think that's all we're gonna cover today. We appreciate you coming in, supporting, hitting that like button. I thought on a day like this where the market was just like going down and doing some funky stuff, we'd have a lot more people at the end of the week coming into the lives. We had a lot of people tuning in over the past couple of days. We had a lot of people tuning in on X. We had a lot of people tuning in on YouTube as well. But yeah, today was a little slow. I think we're gonna stream later tonight. And we'll see if more people come in the stream later tonight. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for coming in. Thanks, Headband, for chatting with me, keeping me occupied. He's watching on Twitch right now. He's my single Twitch viewer. And thank you to all the people that were watching on YouTube. Thank you for all the people watching on X. I really appreciate it. A gamble Twitter space. What do you mean? Like, you'll have to explain. All right, well, I'm going to end this. You explain, send me a message on Telegram and give me, we should do some kind of spaces. We need to do some kind of fun spaces. I gotta actually bring back the Q&A, the Spaces Q&A at the end of the live stream. That's what we should do. A Spaces Q&A. The very end of each live stream, we do like a 15-20 minute Q&A at the very end, and we just have everyone come in and chat. But all right, we'll see you guys later. Come join the live stream later tonight. I think I'll probably be doing it around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, something like that. So just make sure you see that. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. And have a good weekend. Peace out.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworkers you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you a really quick metric that I found fascinating. So 41% of the people that have been watching this channel and actually liking the channel and the content have not subscribed. 41% of you, but I will say 58% of you subscribed. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. But I want to say that the people that are not subscribed yet, please, won't you consider subscribing to the channel and joining the Dojo crew, where we are educating ourselves. We're in the markets every single day. We're live streaming Monday through Friday, and we're also posting content on a daily basis that is keeping up with these cryptocurrency markets. And this is where the money is flowing right now, guys. So if you want to get these updates and you want to be ahead of the game, I suggest you start subscribing and dinging the bell to be notified whenever I go live and post content, because you do not want to miss it.